Hey, my name is Trent, and today we will cover a strategy known as chain reactions. Chain reactions is a cause and effect strategy that helps students to distinguish between long-term and immediate causes and long-term and immediate effects. Why does that matter? Well, it's important to understand cause and effect because it helps us to understand the event as a whole in better clarity. It also helps us to predict the future when we can understand a cause and effect relationship. It's also on the AP exam. So this is a skill that we should be developing from sixth grade all the way through 10th. So one of the questions that we see here is describe how economic conditions led to increased immigration to the U.S. between 1820 and 1859, and discuss the social and political effects of the increase in immigration. So we see the cause and effect question here, and to answer that question effectively, students are going to have to distinguish between immediate and long-term causes and immediate and long-term effects. So let's take a second and look at the difference. So let's say that I'm a student and I missed the school bus. An immediate cause of that is because my parents were out of town and they weren't there to wake me up and ensure that I'm up out of bed. That's the immediate cause. But the long-term cause is the fact that I rely on them on a daily basis to wake me up. That's a habit that I've formed. And because of that habit, I am not awake when they're not there because I have relied on them too much. So the immediate cause is that they weren't there and I didn't wake up. But the long-term cause is the habit that I formed of relying on them. So I missed the school bus. The immediate effect of that is that I'm marked absent and I'm given detention. But the long-term effect of that is that I begin to form a new habit. I begin to set an alarm. Maybe I set an alarm when my parents are there and away, or just when they're away, but I begin to set an alarm so that won't happen again. So that's the difference between long-term and immediate when it comes to cause and effect. So let's look at the template. So the template has places for them to explain immediate causes and long-term causes, and same with the effect template, and then identify those causes and effects as economic, social, political, or environmental factors. So to prepare for this, what you're going to do is identify a major event that, of course, has major cause and effect symptoms to it, or major cause and effect reasons for the event and impacts of the event. And you need to have one that has a long-term effect or long-term effects that will be covered throughout your course of study. And then you're going to select the necessary resources for them to examine and acquire the content that will allow them to explain the cause and effect relationship. So the procedure is you divide them into groups, and after covering the event, you divide them into groups and you provide them with long-term causes to the event. And then you have stationed around the room immediate causes, and they go around and they read and examine the immediate causes, and using the template, they link the immediate causes to the long-term causes and determine if it was an economic, social, political, or environmental cause. Then, after you have discussed that, you give them the effect template and have them rotate around the room and do the same with the effect template. So you've provided the long-term effects of whatever event you're studying, and they're to rotate around the room and link the immediate effects to the long-term effects. And so the strategy helps them to understand the cause and effect to the event that you're studying. Here's just a brief example from the course of study. The fall of the Roman Empire is the event, and as you can see here in the slides, some long-term causes of that would be inflation, and then long-term effect of the fall of the Roman Empire is the Dark Ages. And so you can read through this and see what it looks like in action. But to differentiate the strategy, you can, for struggling students, provide several examples, complete some of the work for them within the template so that they can see as they work what they're trying to do and accomplish. Focus just on a couple at a time, and make sure the primary and secondary sources are adapted and modified for their abilities. For advanced students, require them to provide the long-term causes instead of just giving it to them, and then require them to relate something, relate the event to something that's happening today, and the cause and effect that's happening today in today's events. So in conclusion, if you're looking for a good cause and effect strategy, you're looking for something to help them see a cause and effect relationship within an event, chain reactions is a good tool to do that, and it teaches them to distinguish between immediate and long-term causes and effects.